have dreams, or you're going to have goals for yourself as well as for your family. And so love will be evidenced in how you prepare and provide as well as protect those whom you love, yourself and your family. So you provide having short-term goals, medium-term goals, long-term goals, right? And some of those things that you may seek to protect against are illness, death, loss of job, income. We can speak about that now with what is happening as it relates to COVID, right? Loss of property, all of those things. We can talk about investment risks that you may have, different risks, different financial risks. You want to protect against those. When you love, you want to provide and you want to protect. Did you make sufficient financial plans on the premise of something like this happening? I'm talking about a pandemic like this. Are you surviving well in COVID-19 now? We want to talk a little more about those as we go on. So with love at the center, where does it start? Starts from you're a babe till you are old. So financial planning is from you are in the womb, even before you, as a matter of fact, from your thought of, and it goes beyond the grave because you have estate planning as well. So you have to continuously be planning. And if you love, you may very well might want to adopt this. Nothing makes me happier than seeing my family happy. Love provides can you just say you love and want to get married? Is that how it works? Or you have to do some financial planning, because that's what they say, right? Love don't pay the bills. All right, so debt consolidation, loan, different things that you might want to financially plan for. Open your own business. As Seventh-day Adventists, we should be we should be thinking heavily about opening our own businesses. Very, very, very key. So that's a summary of some of the financial goals that we will have. So we'll have all the things that we want to achieve. All of these things. We want to buy the house, the big car, the big house, the hot car, and we might want to get married, all of those things. But there is a gap. So we have the goals, but we want to get onto the other side of achieving the goals, bridging the financial gap. So we have the things we want to achieve, but how do we go about doing it? So we have the dreams, so we have to plan for all of those. And financial planning is to bridging the gap that stops you from achieving the objectives that you have. So in your short-term goals, which are usually up to 3 years, you have what we call the daily needs. So you need monies to take care of your food, your transportation costs, your childcare costs. So these are things that you need on a daily basis, right? Usually up to 3 years. That is what your short-term goals are about, all right? You see what it says as it relates to recurring expenses. Tithes and offering is the first thing there. Are you paying a tithes and offering? And then you have your loan obligations. Make sure you pay your loans. You might have other goals such as buying a car, taking a trip, and then you have taking care of the tuition, right? Medium term to long term, which are usually 5 years and above, tertiary education, your child's education, which is very key. The best gift you can give your child is freedom, and that comes through education. Automobile, might want to buy the car. So those are some of the things. Traveling might not necessarily be where it is at now, but we're looking at COVID-19 and beyond, not just now. Retirement. How close are you to retirement? Do you have monies in place to take care of you when you retire? What if you live to 100 and you are now 60 or 65? What happens then? You have monies to take care of you for 35 years. How are you planning to live? Do you plan to live well or in a way that will be less than how you would want to live? So you have to plan for those, right? Buying the house. Have you bought the house as yet? Financial planning. So you have all of those goals. How do you achieve them? Well, the first way that you can choose to achieve it is through gifts and grants. Then you have savings and investments, and then you have loans, credit. Let's talk about gifts and grants. Sure, you can be, as they would say, a bum and await your family and friends to take care of your financial needs. But is that prudent? You know, maybe it's best that you don't go that route, because how many persons have monies to take up $1 million to pay for your school fee? Depends on what you're studying. How many persons have family members you know that can help you, who would be willing to give you $2 million or $3 million or even $5 million to buy a car? You have to take care of your financial needs. You have to make sure you secure your financial needs. But also, you have business and government grants, which you can get, and we'll speak to those. And as I mentioned, you know, the general thing as it relates to handouts, as it relates to business and government grants, the DBJ, if you are, as it relates to business and government grants, the DBJ, if you are a self-employed person, I guarantee you, if you go to DBJ, they will help you, and JBDC, Jamaica Business Development Corporation, they can help you to source grants or to get grants. You can get grants through them, right? They will help you with different things, including a business plan. Remember, I said I'm going to run a little quickly through some of these things, right? But if you have a business or you're looking to start a business, these are places that you can go to avail of their expertise and their finances. All right, so these are some of the things that you can get from DBJ. I guarantee you, I work at a commercial bank, and I would have been in a position to help different persons as it relates to grants from DBJ. So I'm saying that's a good place to start, along with JBDC. All right. Give to him who asks of you, and do not turn away from him who wants to borrow from you. Those who work their land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies have no sense. Not me said it, is the Bible. So you're going to sit aside and not financial plan for yourself, handout, no way. So the second way, so we spoke about grants, and we spoke about, grants and gifts in terms of achieving your financial goal, but then you can use your own monies, deposits and investments. So there it is. Persons are running across. There's the gap to achieve goals on the left-hand side. There you are, and you are running on your own monies to achieve your goals. Yes, you can do that, and you can do that through deposit accounts. The first thing we'll talk about, deposit account. Deposit accounts are accounts, savings, and the checking. And this is COVID-19. This is financial planning for COVID-19 and beyond. So we are not just going to be stuck on what is happening now, but we want to look generally at financial planning. That's what we are doing now at what's that, 630. So savings, checking, term deposits, these are some of the things that you can achieve your financial goals, wherein very, very necessary. And many people might say, and looking on that animal that Seventh-day Adventists don't eat, yes, we don't eat it, but we're saving it. Very important. So we say, you might say, how is it that I get such low interest rate? Yes, that is how it works. These are relatively safe instruments: term deposit, savings account, current accounts. And so you're not going to get any high interest rates on these instruments. You do get an interest rate, right? But you don't get a high interest rate because they are very safe, and there's an inverse relationship between deposits and in terms of what you earn. The higher the risk and deposits, and in terms of risk and return rather. So the higher the risks, then the potential returns will be likewise high, and the lower the risk, then the potential returns will be likewise low, right? So that's what happens when it comes to deposit accounts. Don't expect any big returns. These takes care of your day-to-day needs, to take care of the monies that you need your ATM card for, to buy the clothes, buy the food, transportation, those type of things. They have their need, but they're not going to give you the returns for you to have wealth. That is where investments come in now, whether it is through a business or you explore through the financial sector, the commercial banks, the investment houses. But understand that investments are speculative, wherein you don't get a guaranteed return, but it's potential return. So the greater the potential, the greater the risk, again, the greater the potential return. Some of these instruments are initial public offerings. So you might have known about Wigton. So you might have bought stocks. So these are initial public offerings: Wigton, Trans Jamaica, Dermore Trading. Some of those would have come out in last year. And so it's an avenue for you to purchase shares into a company just being offered to the public. We're saying to you, these are avenues for you to earn and earn well. And as such, once you do your reading, once you also avail of the expertise of persons in the industry, we would encourage you to look on this as an avenue. This is an avenue as well for you to earn favorably. Portfolio, bonds, mutual funds, stocks, all of those things. You can earn in a favorable way through investments of this nature, right? But it's important that you get the expertise of persons who are in the industry, or you choose to read about it yourself, because there are great risks as it relates to this. So some people may classify investments this way, that at the end of the line, there is $10 million, but along the line, depends on how it is maneuvered. You walk a tightrope, which has potential for very dangerous things. But at the end, if you are maneuvered smoothly, then you can earn very well. That's one person how they would look on how investments work. Investments and deposit instruments are different types of instruments, and it's all about your risk tolerance. How receptive you are to risks, then it will help you to achieve a little better. Retirement planning, very, very key. Do you have a retirement account? All right, don't just pay your pension monthly and not be intimate with investment. Very important. Many times people retire, and then the returns that they get when it is time for them to collect on those funds, it might not necessarily be favorable. And if you were one of those persons that would attend members' meetings and review the pension statement to see that the returns, right? Investment gives you returns, deposit gives you an interest rate. The returns are not necessarily favorable because you have not been following up with it. Then if you had done so prior to they prior to you retiring, then you would be in a better position to earn more. So again, you have to hold the trustees accountable and ensure that
Am I the only one, or are we not
know
hearing
that it's
Garfield?
in, pardon?
Oh, I wasn't hearing you a few minutes
Oh,
ago.
okay, no problem, no problem. Right. So the NIS, it is very key that you have sufficient.
Sorry, but I think you chipped out when you were explaining about the trustees.
Oh, the trustees. Okay, no problem. So I'm just saying that don't settle for mediocre returns. It is key that you hold the trustees accountable. So if you have your pension account, pension plan, whatever you call it, and you just get the statements each time, don't look at it, don't analyze the interest, the rate of return that is attracted to it. And when you retire, the returns are very meager. Part of that is your fault because you should hold the trustees accountable because they are responsible for the investment managers. The trustees employ the investment managers to manage the funds. And so if the investment managers getting 2% return, are you going to be comfortable with that? So you now have to go to your members' meetings and make sure that the trustees understand that you don't want to settle for any 1% or 2%, right? Or for significant administrative fees on your pension account. Very important. And I also was mentioning as well that NIS is insufficient. Persons here would already know by virtue of them getting NIS that it is insufficient. 2,500 in some cases, every 2 weeks. And I'm saying to you, what can that do? Can that take care of you for a month? 5,000 for the month? How will you survive? Don't just settle for NIS. Get your pension account if you're not a part of a structured pension plan. That's one. And supplement your pension with investments as well, right? So don't just feel comfortable that you have a pension. So you have to look on investments. I mentioned some earlier, set up a business, right? Make sure, very important. Where are you saving your money? Is it under the bed? You see what is happening there? Somebody's looking, and when the money goes, you can't get it back. So make sure you put the money in a financial institution. Yes, emergency funds, put down the emergency funds. How much money you had for your COVID pandemic period? Did you put down any money? Have you lost your job? What is happening? Loss of jobs, sudden illness, sudden travel. That's what emergency funds are for, and that's what you put in a medium to short-term account, which may include a fixed deposit, right? Things as well that you do, especially in this time, try to do online banking. Even if you're 65 and over, I guarantee online banking is not a difficult thing. Have one of your relatives teach you so you can protect yourself. Stop going to the bank. No, learn to protect yourself. Most things can be done from home. I'm encouraging you. But the Prime Minister said, okay, Tanayayad. You also would have up to $1.2 million that you are protected for in a financial institution. It used to be 600,000, but it is now $1.2 million JDIC per person per institution. So, that again is a reason for you not to put the monies under the bed where somebody can steal it or roach and rats can eat it up and, it has no value subsequently. Financial houses and officers must be FSC licensed. So anybody giving you financial advice as it relates to investment, they should be licensed by the Financial Services Commission, right? So we would have looked at some of those already. So the next avenue in terms of achieving your financial goals, you look at gifts and grants earlier, and we're now looking, and we look at deposits and investments. And the last area is through credit loans. Many people find that many people are unfriendly with loans. I'm telling you that, how is it that you bought your house? Did you have 20 or 30 or $15 million put down and then you would have gone ahead and just bought your house? No, you'd have gone possibly through the NHT along with complemented by a financial institution to buy your house through a mortgage. Mortgage is a loan as well. So nothing's wrong with loans. It's about responsible borrowing. And when you have responsible financial officers, they will ensure you have responsible borrowing. And there are measures in place to make sure that those things are covered, right? Business loans, so you can achieve your goals through loans. What if your child is doing law? How much is it per annum for law? $1.4 million. You can borrow, whether it is through the Students Loans Bureau or through a commercial bank or some other financial institution. Nothing's wrong with loans. It's about responsible borrowing. And there are some of them, including credit cards. Credit cards and line of credit, somewhat similar type products. In cases where you don't need to do certain things, line of credit might be the better instrument to use. A general approach as it relates, and I'm going a little quickly, why you didn't, in terms of getting loans. Sometimes when you go to the financial institution, you are guided to do certain things, but you choose to do your own thing. But it's the institution who's lending you the money. So if you don't abide by the protocols or the requests, I guarantee you are unlikely to get the loan, right? Many people, especially, let's say it's a business. Where's a business plan? It's a sole trader business. The banker is unlikely to give you the time of day because you're not ready for him. So you need to go to JBDC first, set up a business plan, DBJ, right? Make sure your business, as a business, you're paying taxes. Make sure you have a good credit history. But if you have a bad credit history, you know, that assessment can be made towards you being able to still achieve your financial goals. All right. You know, a couple more things, but I have to go quickly in the interest of time. All right. So I mentioned earlier the business plan, and there are some things, these are some things that bankers look on when we're looking to lend. Your capacity. This now has to do with your income, mainly about your income. So if you want a loan and you are earning $100,000, for example, but the loan is say 150, you know, you can't get the loan that way. Then there are also different measures that one looks at as it relates to capacity, the debt service ratio. Many institutions, most institutions may look at 40% debt service or 50%. What does that mean? If you earn 100,000, it means that your loans must not go past 50,000 or 40,000 if it is 40 or 50%. If it is over that, there may be constraints in lending. So we're looking at capacity. Character. What if your credit report comes back? What if you are not paying your loan? Then it tells the banker or the financial institution that you may do so again. And as a result of that, they may be hesitant to lend you if you don't pay your loans. Different reasons may impact you paying your loans, but if it is one which isn't so justifiable, then it may impact, right? You might need to input capital. If it is a vehicle or house, the collateral might be those assets, and of course, compliance and confidence. So this is where the documentation comes in now. So if you're asked to get 2 referees and you think it's too much of a task to do so, then it is unlikely you may get the loan, because banks are guided by the Bank of Jamaica, and as a result, they would have given us guidelines as to what to do. So make sure that you fulfill the conditions that the banks ask you to do. I'll jump over that part just now. Network, very important. So I mean, I could go in this in depth, but I'll just give you just a synopsis. You can do your own calculations. What is your net worth right now? Do you have more loans than assets? That's not a good place to be right now, right? So you need to have more. Do you have more debts than assets, or liabilities than assets, right? So you need to make sure you're in a better position than being one where you have more liabilities than assets. All right, I can always share that with Sister Perry at a later time for you to have this information, but I'm going to jump over it for the most part. Net worth is about the direction that you ought to go. It tells the bank as well. So if you're looking to borrow from us and you have lots of debt, one of the things that we look on is, what if we have to sell your assets? Can it cover the loans that you have? That is a very key thing, right? So net worth, very, 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 very key. All right. Some of the summary of the things that we mentioned just now. And as I move quickly to risk management towards finishing, because I know you may have questions and I want to ensure I'm able to answer. Consideration and personal risks, right? So what if you were to die prematurely and being disabled, or you have ill health, or you have a pandemic like this, right? How do you combat that? Well, and they say money words will stress you, right? So the thing to combat such personal risks, life insurance. If you have a critical illness, and you have you have critical illness plans and you have life insurance policies. Life insurance seeks to take care of beneficiaries on the premise of the death of the insured. So you might have kids, and you might even be married. What happens to your family? Say you are the main breadwinner. What happens to the family if you are not around? How does that work? Life insurance helps to take care of and bridge the gap, right? You might have a child. That child is not yet at university. You were to die, God forbid, and we're talking real issues here. How do you protect against that? A life insurance does that. Life insurance policy. Seek out the best one. I won't tell you any in terms of a personal one to do, but seek out what is favorable for you. Critical illness, cancer, stroke, heart condition. Protect against those if you were to be ill, because you can have cancer and still survive. My mother-in-law has had cancer for over 20 years. She's not doing very well right now, and she hasn't been doing well for a little while. But, give thanks. God is good. Monies would have been there to help her survive this time, right? But it can be very costly because her treatment ranges in the about over $1 million per month. Give thanks for some help that we as a family have. But over a year, that would be, you're looking at quite a sum, right? Quite a sum. What if you didn't have that in place? So you have to protect yourself and protect your family. And if you love yourself and your family, you're going to put these things in place. Because we're talking about COVID-19 financial planning now and beyond. What if you have a business? What if the main persons in the business were to die? How do you protect against that? Key man insurance, you need the business to go on. Very important. Then you have property risk. Is your property insured? I would suggest and recommend that you do, right? Budgeting is another term that we want to look on very quickly. Balanced budget. I can share this with Sister Perry. Make sure that you pay your tithe. Make sure that you save, right? Very important. Pay your 10% tithe. Make sure you save and make sure you pay your loans. Could speak further in depth on that. The problem with many people is what? They try to go outside of the budget. More if you're doing the inside, stay on the inside, that's not so bad, but we tend to want to overspend, right? What does the Bible say? Honor the Lord with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thine increase. So COVID-19 is going on and tithe in the church has fallen off. I don't think it happens at this church. But just in case it is, I'm saying that why? If you're still working, Why aren't you paying the tithes? The same God that would have taken you through other times, he can take you through this. Take your tithe out and pay your tithes. I'm stressing that. You can do online, however you want to do it, right? I would say that for Jesus to come back, monies, your tithes can help Jesus to come back, because it is those monies which also help with evangelistic thrust. And so the more monies, the faster the work will be finished. So you want Jesus to come back? Pay your tithe, man, right? Pay your tithes. So, all right. This is the last part of it here now. In COVID-19, what are you doing as it relates to expenses, right? How are you surviving? So things haven't gone well, might not have gone well. You might have lost your job or reduced time on the job. How does that work now? Well, you might have a loan. What happens then? Don't just sit down on it and let it go bad, which affects your credit history. Request a moratorium. Ask for a period that you can go without having to pay at least the principal. Some places might give you the principal and interest. Very rare. But even, if the interest alone is being required, the principal is usually the bigger portion. So go in and speak with your banker, with your credit officer, right? Restructure your debt. So you might have a debt. It might be a car loan, and you might have 2 years left on it, and you're paying around $60,000 per month, for example. What you can do, is to leave. Is to leave that institution or explore with another financial institution. A longer term, a longer tenure will allow for a lower monthly payment, and you will be able to keep more monies in your pocket. You might need to also scale down as it relates to debt, and certainly wouldn't be necessarily be a time to do debt. If you have a business, you might want to explore things from a virtual space and not just the physical, which has light, water, all those things, right? I mentioned transferring the debt already. Debt consolidation, you might have 5 different loans with 5 different institutions paying different amounts. Put them all into one, and that can help you with one institution, one loan, one institution, and that can allow for more money into your pocket. And if you're a business, you can explore grant options. And this, many of us live in the high lifestyle, right? So I'm saying you might have a range. No, but what's wrong with you going down to a Cherokee QQ? The whole thing about it, is that at the end of the day, you can't just allow pride to cause you to fall. Real issues. This is what is happening now. So you have to consider your financial positions, right? You cut your transportation costs. You keep going to the bank. That's money's gas, bus fare. Why are you doing that? Do online banking. You can even do loans from online banking, right? Use up the technology for your meetings instead of physically going to different places. Going to places that you even work. What about neighbors? If you have a good neighbor, you can carpool with your neighbor, right? We don't do much physical church now, but if it is so, both wife and husband and in one household, 4 persons driving to church. Sometimes we have to think about that. Manage monies within the household. Be more structured with your movements. So if plan your days, don't just get up and say you're going X, Y, or Z, right? Seek out the lower petrol costs. In your household, ensure you have persons working along with you to manage the electricity, manage the utilities, right? Speak with the family, have family meetings. If you have a helper as well, ensure that that person doesn't go into the refrigerator every minute. Your kids, the same thing. Sell them on the vision, right? Do you have postpaid mobile? Well, it might mean that you might look at the prepaid, which helps to manage what you have to do. So if once the credit is finished, it means then what? You can't do more, right? Try to use up your WhatsApp call, the Skype, those free services as best as possible. Cut down on the entertainment cost, man. Well, I think movies kind of cut down a bit in terms of policy and so on. And should Adventists be going to the theater? Well, that's just a question. I'm not telling you to go or not to go. I'm just saying, you know. So parties, and there may be persons who are non-Christians here. What are you doing partying at this time? Save your money, man. Right? Games and all those subscriptions, cut down on some of those, save monies in your pocket. I keep telling people, you know, I'm telling you, and this is a witness, and anybody was a part of a presentation I did last year. My wife is my barber, and dare you tell me that my
Not hearing.
So Garfield,
yes.
Oh, you cut out for a minute there, so
Oh,
you can go
okay.
back to the wife and the barber.
Yes, my hair is cut nicely, well done by my wife. So I saved how much I used to pay for at the barber again. I think it was $1,000 per haircut. And let's say I did that every week, 4,000 times 12. You could call that $50,000. As a matter of fact, how many weeks in the year? 52. $52,000 that I save in my pocket, you know. You know, if my barber wasn't a good friend, he would have been very vexed with my wife because my wife would have robbed him of $52,000 there. So I'm saying you have to think outside of the box in how you can save monies. Save the money and invest it into something income generating. Eat at home, right? A backyard garden. Look at me. I'm from the country, but I'm not a country guy. It's only recently I started to plant in my backyard, right? I'm from St. Ann, but been in Kingston a while. So it's only recently now, and I'm enjoying it. I planted a mango tree recently, and boy, I wish the mango tree would just take 6 months to grow. But you know, my wife planted some pineapples. So yes, man. So save on those things. There was a time when tomatoes, I think, was selling for $400 or so a pound. Can you imagine if you had tomatoes at home? Have to think how you can manage your monies, right? Increase your income and you can explore equities, investments, stocks, bonds. These are instruments. You might not know much about it, but savings account and fixed deposit is not going to give you the kind of returns that you may want. But at the same time, there are risks involved. So you need to read and you need to also seek out someone who has the expertise, who has the knowledge in this era. And even if you go to someone, you need to read for yourself. Sometimes persons are self-seeking. So what they may do it for their own purpose and not necessarily for your benefit. So you have to be wise in when you explore an investment. Personal development. Time now for you to improve education and training, whether it is across the board, horizontal or vertical. Don't you see in this, you have to look about yourself, you know. If you don't put things in place, then it may provide a constraint in terms of how you grow and how you develop. So you also need to review and restructure your industry. What's wrong with changing a job? What's wrong with going in a different direction? You need to look at those things. COVID-19 and beyond, financial planning, right? Rental income. You have a big house. You have 4 bedrooms in a house. Your kids are out of the house. What are you doing? Have you thought about renting that out? I mentioned the backyard garden already. You might want to sell the house as well and buy an apartment. Have you considered that? That's an option. There are also mortgage options which allow for you to get an income and your family takes care of that, or it allows for you to get an income till you die, and the financial institution will clear off the loan and pay the difference to whomever would be your beneficiary or so. Those are options there. Talk with your financial institution if you are having a difficult time managing in this time of pandemic. right? I mentioned skills. Well, I mentioned education. No skills. Let me tell you something. Skills pay the bills. What skills do you have? What more can you do for you? What talents do you have that can be commercialized? Can you sing? Sing on Zoom and charge for the weddings and different business functions. Set up a web page. Yes, man, you can make some money that way, right? Bake something. Can you make some special drink? You have to be creative in this time. The monies that you earn, you can invest. Do you have a degree? What is it that you can tutor? Caregiving, you can do that as well. Oh, I am telling you, you know, our caregiver love us, you know, because we try to take very good care of her because we have a vested interest in her being okay because she's taking care of her 2-year-old, right? What are your skills? I write extensively. And so I have a book out, right? That was sold off back in 2012 when I published. My wife keeps telling me that it is time now that I do another one. And each year, by virtue of having the book, I earn royalties from it. So if I don't get any Christmas bonus or whatever you call end of year bonus, I always can rely on my royalties from my book. And whenever I write and the cleaner publishes any article that I get, I also earn from that. That adds to the royalties that I receive at the end of the year. So what are the skills that you have? Do some brainstorm along that line. This gentleman here, some of you may know him, he may have been your MC. He is a master of ceremonies, but that is not what he did in terms of a major way. You know, he is in industrial relations, or he was in industrial relations, but he earned significantly, even would have gone abroad, being a master of ceremonies. Do you have the gift of gab? Why don't you explore that? My wife keeps telling me that I should. Maybe one day, right? Be a YouTuber. There are many persons who are earning from YouTube. What are you doing? God's people can earn as well. And as we come to close, there is no magic to achieving financial goals. Success requires you to take action and be disciplined. Set the goal, formulate the plan, take action, monitor the process, the progress, right? Many people don't achieve because they have a lack of knowledge. You can't say that this evening because I'm giving you the knowledge for how you can develop and grow. And it is power procrastination. You keep putting on the pension, you keep putting on the investment, you keep putting on all the things that you should do. Procrastination is a thief of time. Don't let procrastination steal your goals and your dreams. Do it now, right? To accomplish great things, we must dream as well as act. All hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. Brothers and sisters, thank you very much. I hope what I said would have impacted you and you would have learned at least one thing from my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir Goulbourne, for that informative presentation. And I hope we do have questions. So at this time, I'm going to be opening up the floor for those who have any questions, comments that you want to share at this time. You can just raise your hand and then we'll acknowledge you and proceed. Nobody? It was that clear? No concerns?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Can you tell me how to earn some money from YouTube? From doing the YouTube thing?
Well, that's a good question. I've seen people, it's all about content. And I see Sister Diane raised her hand here. I guess we'll soon get to Diane, but let me answer this question here. How can you? Well, what can you do? What are your skills? What are your talents? Different people are sharing different things on YouTube, and you know, it's YouTube gives you a guide as to how you can go about earning. And there are people living in the Adventist church circle, different church circle. There are people who, you know, I know of persons who share the aspects of their marriage. You know, they have, I guess, a relationship channel. So they share tips on how you can have a better marriage. And they would have had thousands of views. And, you know, at the end of a month, they may collect 500,000 US as a result of the number of views that they would have got on YouTube. And I mean, social media such as Facebook also facilitates you putting out videos, putting out content and earning as well. But the information is there that you can read on how you can earn from any of the social media sites.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. We're now going to go to Dion Rowe.
All right, good evening, everyone. I don't have a question. However, I just want to attest to the saving of me being my husband's barber. I've been doing that for over a year now, and I'm telling you, we really save. Natalia and Mark can attest to that also.
Very good, very
Thanks,
good.
Dion.
52,000.
Happy to you,
Leon is my sister-in-law, so I can really testify for that. All right, Danielle.
All right, good evening, everyone. So Mr. Goulbourne, you would have mentioned about NIS, and could you just shed some more light on other pension schemes? I mean, some of us just know that we throw NIS because it's mandatory because we're employed if our company is paying our statutory deductions. So, but there are other pension schemes that you would have mentioned. Can you just share with us a little more about
All right. Certainly. All right. So generally there are you might be a part of a plan, a contributory plan, what they call the defined benefits plan, and you also have the defined contributions plan. So many people, if you're part of an organization that in terms of like some of the larger organizations, they usually would have a pension plan. And, you know, that is what you call the defined contribution, the defined benefits plan. And so the HR usually is the one who would structure that. And as a result of that, they have the standards of what it is that you're to contribute, whether it is, you know, of course, the usual is 5%, and you can contribute up to 10%, and the employer may contribute 5%, or in some cases, I've known a few employers who have contributed up to 10%, but the whole, the full amount that you're eligible to contribute, whether it is in an individual retirement plan or you're part of a structured pension plan, as what organizations provide, the percentage would usually be, well, it's 20% overall of your income, of your gross income you're eligible to contribute. Once you're part of a company pension plan, the law hasn't changed as yet, but it has been reviewed, and it is currently being looked on. There have been some significant proposals wherein you at present can only contribute to your company's pension and not be able to do outside of your company's pension. In the public sector, before I talk about the individual pension account, in the public sector, there were non-contributory plans. For example, teachers, police officers, and so on would have been a part. Once you're in the government, you would have been a part of those. So when you retire, you would have your pension. but there have been some changes, and some of these persons are now being asked to contribute to a government pension account. And as a result of that, there's a 5%, there's usually a 5% for the widows and what is it called? I don't quite remember, but I know it's widows and
orphans.
That widows and orphans, right? So that 5%, you're eligible now to contribute that to, in this case for the government employees, to an external pension plan, right? As it relates to those persons who don't fall into that category, and you are self-employed, or you are part of an organization that doesn't provide a pension, you can seek out an individual pension account from providers. There are different financial institutions and that provide you with individual pension, where you're also eligible for putting up up to 20% of your gross income, right? There are many advantages to having a pension, and some of the main advantages rest with the tax benefits, right? So you get a tax deductible status for your monies as it relates to pension. What that means is that, say you earn $100,000 and your pension is, say, $10,000. How it works is that your pension is first taken out before PAYE is applied, which means that you actually pay less in taxes than if you didn't have a pension, right? 100,000 as your gross income, you have a pension paying, say, 10,000. The pension is first taken out and then PAYE is applied. That means PAYE is applied on 90, not on $100,000. So you pay less taxes. It accumulates tax-free. So withholding taxes are usually attracted to your savings account. 25% of your profit goes to the government. With a pension, then it accumulates tax-free. There's no taxes in that period, right? So there are, several different advantages in terms of having the pension, and the individual pension account would be for persons who are not a part of a formal pension plan with their organization. You can get that, and different companies have a retirement age, some as early as 50, some as some 60, whatever it is. So you can choose to pay your pension, and at those points you can you can avail yourself of the pension benefits. I hope I answered you sufficiently.
Daniel, you're good? I think that was a very
thank you.
All right, comprehensive response. So thanks very much for that. We also have Mark's hand who is raised, so we'll take him.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Host. From your presentation, Mr. Goulbourne, one of the things that I also want to add as it relates to NIS, because I have realized in my line of business that most people rely on NIS to assist with their burials. But what I'd like to everyone to understand is that it does not matter how much you contribute to your NIS fund during your working years. At the end of your days, all your family will get toward that is $90,000. So that also is not a safe savings if you are thinking about assisting with your burial.
Okay, very good point, sir. Very, very important. And that's why I always say, life insurance. So we would have touched on the fact that for your beneficiaries, and if you love yourself, if you love your family, you're going to put aside monies to take care of those who are left behind, because that is what life insurance is about. Living benefit plans speak to your, all right, so living benefits plans speak to the critical illness, but the life insurance says that on the premise of death, my child who is not yet at university, my wife who would be there, and my monies which would not have been there to supplement while the family goes on, that life insurance would help to to bridge that gap. So a life insurance policy certainly would supplement any other savings or any other type of investment that you have to take care of you. Because many people might not necessarily just be concerned about the burial, but about who is left behind. If you love your wife, and remember, financial planning is centered in love. If you love your wife, if you love your children, if you love yourself, you're going to make sure that those who are left behind are secured.
All right, thank you very much. Just checking, do we have any more questions before we proceed to the vote of thanks? Going once, going twice. Well, if not, I'm going to hand over back to Mark, and he will be giving the vote of thanks for this evening. And then we have a final 30-second video, which I invite you to stick around for. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been very informative and it has been wonderful. You can attest to that. So let me first thank our presenter, Mr. Garfield Goulbourne, for taking time out to give us this very useful information. Mr. Goulbourne, I also realize that you are from a financial institution, and much of what you say has been interesting and has sparked my curiosity. I wonder if you could share your contact details with us. Oh yes, I see it there now. Yes. Manager commercial bank, but don't tell us which one. I will see the mobile number.
Pardon me. I try not to, be specific as it relates to that. I don't want to color anybody's view to say, okay, you have to come to my institution. I speak from a generic perspective. God has blessed me with this knowledge. God has blessed me to be in such a position. So I want to impart. I freely share. And privately, if you want to reach out to me, sure, I can discuss that. But it's less about the institution and more about the gift God has blessed me with. And yeah, that's why I don't share the institution.
All right. I thank you very much. But I know that there are individuals who will be reaching out to you, as I will be. So thank you so much for this very informative presentation, for taking the time out, because as I said before, there's so much going on now, and for you to agree to give us the better part of your Sunday afternoon in the midst of a holiday. We thank you so much. Thank your wife also for giving you the opportunity and to just take some time from the family. Your wife and Barbara take some time away from the family to just share with us. I also want to thank those who have used the opportunity to join us for this informative presentation. We say thank you, especially to those who are non-Adventists, for coming onto this platform, and we really hope that you'll benefit from what you have received. We thank also the delegation from the University of the West Indies, who, based on their association with Mr. Goulbourne, who have been here with us. One and all, we really thank you. Thank the leadership of the Family Life Department, the Perrys, for the insight and for, just reaching out with such a program to see it fit in this time. So one and all, we thank you so much for being a part of this. And we know for a fact that this was not a wasted afternoon. We all would have benefited so much. So I'm going to turn over now. Okay, I just ask you to share, to spend a little more time with us as we recognize a very, very special couple who is celebrating today, our assistant family life directors. Mm-mm.
You're not seeing it?
No, we're not seeing the video. Share screen.
Yes, we're seeing it.
Oh, you're seeing it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, we're not hearing the sound. Sorry.
All right. Thank you so much, Natalia. We just want to say congratulations and happy anniversary to Adriel and Vanessa. And research has shown that those who celebrate anniversaries most often are those who stay longer together. So we wish for you many, many, many more. I ask you please to just bow your heads with me as you pray this closing prayer, thanking God for his leading. Father, we thank you for having brought us through this session. We thank you for the information that we have received. We thank you for the empowerment through your servant. And Lord, for opening our eyes to the financial aspect of our lives, because we know that you're a God who cares about every facet of our life, and you want us to be financially sound and savvy, because your intent for us is that we would be the head and not the tail. And so, Father, we give you thanks for what was imparted to us, and we pray now that you'll just help us to put these things into action. And Lord, for those of us who are in a financial jam right now, I ask that you'll provide for us, that you help us to clear whatever debts there are and to set us on a stable path, is my asking with thanksgiving. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, my friends, it has been real. We thank you for being here, and we let you know as soon as we are able to do it again. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you very much to the organizers for having me, and it was my pleasure sharing. Have a good evening yourselves.
Adriel, and